Mbaza nno kagambo kano akali ku bbaasi. By the way. Eyo gye nkuwadde.
We would like to appreciate Parliament of Uganda for supporting Statistical production. The Bureau has been a reference point for a number of countries coming in to benchmark, and this is only possible because you have been able to provide us with the resources. There are many statistical agencies in Africa which don't get the resources that we get, so we thank you and we are most grateful. Honorable members of Parliament, that's all I have. Thank you.
Cleaning before we get to the critical issues. I was expecting that the ED, Dr. Chris Mukiza, would be here, and the Deputy ED, but they are not here. Maybe you people don't take us very seriously. It's possible, because we have had back and forth communication. The last communication, which was a letter written by you people, by yourself actually, on 23rd. And I think this letter was, reference is made to your letter dated 22nd January 2025, seeking to carry out an oversight visit to Uganda Bureau of Statistics. This is to inform you, myself, that the Executive Director and his deputy are out of station until Wednesday next week, today. We request to meet you on Wednesday, 29th, 2025 at 10 a.m. So this was you writing, asking that we push the meeting to today so that the ED and Deputy ED can be present. I'm surprised they're not here. This engagement was meant to first take place in sometime in November last year, when we began to put out to engage with you people after you released the census results. It was back and forth. It had been confirmed for some time. Then you people requested we push it. I said no problem. So we've been having that back and forth. So when you finally confirmed again that the reason you requested for it to be pushed was for the ED and deputy to be here, they are not here. My team and I are disturbed by that. And again, I'm saying maybe you don't take us very seriously. Two, in our previous engagements, we asked for a liaison person, and the liaison person was the assistant director in my office. And your liaison person was the one, Sharon Apio. I don't know if she's the one. Sharon, you eventually blocked our assistant director on calls. I don't know why. And so she could only eventually get you on mail. Anyway, these things sound petty, but when we want to connect and engage with entities like yourself, it's because we are on the same team. At least that's what I believe. Maybe you don't. In her prayer, Faith, I believe is the name, I heard her say, we should be partners in developing our country, something of the sort. I'm paraphrasing. That was part of that prayer she made. And indeed, we are partners. We should be partners. But maybe you people don't consider it that way. and perhaps that's why there's been this back and forth. Ours is a critical role, which is to keep the government in check and government entities like yourself. And that's why we seek to engage with you people, to do our job of keeping you in check. You're given taxpayers' money. You were given 327 billion shillings for the census exercise. So when we seek to engage, it's really not because we are idle. Yeah. So again, I'm sorry I began by complaining, but I thought I needed to get these little things out of the way, so that the way we take you people serious, you also take us serious. Yeah. That's very important. In fact, I had hoped we were going to have a very good meeting, but now I've begun by quarreling, meaning it might not be a very good meeting. But that's okay, because we are not here to please any of you people. Okay, let me now stop the quarreling, which was important for me to do, because I just don't understand why you people want to operate the way you have been operating and engaging. My first degree was in business statistics. I didn't get to practice any of that. I think that this entity has some of the best statisticians in the region and beyond, including your ED. So we have trust in the work that you do. But it's important that you are allowed to be held accountable.
The acting deputy executive director is no longer Mr. Nabongo. Mr. Nabongo left, and there is Dr. Ssenyonyi, who is attending a meeting, an urgent meeting out of town. So in a way, I found that rather than postponing, it's important to have this and we engage, because as you have already indicated from last year, then I think it would have been interpreted even differently. In other words, your quarrel will not be at that low tone, it will probably be even at a higher tone. So I wanted to avoid that and try to address that.
There were errors, switching of results. Many ethnic and tribal groupings were complaining, which errors were eventually acknowledged by yourselves. The Bachiga, for example, complained, Langi, Bagisu, Acholi, and so on. Figures being switched and all these different things. Persons with disabilities raised numerous complaints. In fact, they were saying a number of them, you didn't even bother to reach out to them to make sure they are counted, and yet they are citizens. You saw all of those complaints. So we sought to engage at that time to have a good understanding on behalf of the people of Uganda whom you were accounting. What happened? What went wrong? How can it be rectified? Because the work done by Uganda Bureau of Statistics, and you adumbrated a bit of that, yeah? It's very critical work. We are now in our budget process as Parliament. We need these figures, correct figures, to help us in the budget process. So that when we stand up on the floor and we are making a case for more funding in certain areas, we have figures to back it up. When we say we want attention drawn to particular things, it can only be backed up by figures. And that's why we thought it important to engage even now that we are handling our budget process. The election is around the corner. Actually, the election process kicked off already. And it's an exercise tethered to numbers, which numbers we can only reliably get from you people, and then we know. One of the quarrels we are having is the different demarcations. And as we are making a case for proper demarcations to be made, so that you don't have an LC1 chairman in Kampala leading more people than a member of parliament in some rural place up country. Yeah? It takes figures for us to say, but this is not right. How can an MP somewhere in the country receive the same number of votes as an LC1 chairman in Kampala, because as you know, some places are a lot more congested.
Member of Parliament, I don't believe in these statistics these people produce. And for that matter, I was also immediately of the view that we need to constitute an inquiry on this. We need to move a motion in Parliament to investigate, and if needs be, we can form a select committee to come and do thorough investigation, because the statistics simply does not add up, and yet we need this in a number of areas. We need this for our planning purposes. We need this to make sure we move forward, especially even in the election that is coming up. Now that people have lost hope and trust in these statistics that came out, I think as a parliament, because of money that has been used, we need to do something. As opposition, as parliament. For me, my view is that maybe we need a select committee to come and investigate this error. This error is not a simple error. This complaint is not a simple complaint. We have used taxpayers' money, and nobody seems to have actually, I would say, confidence in using these statistics. How do we use it as actually people, for example? We have had issues of livestock, census which has not been produced up to now because of the incursion of balalos. We have had also issues of population being downsized, and therefore the planning process that will come will definitely dwindle the social services that is supposed to come. How do we even use these statistics? So for me, my proposal immediately is that we need to move a motion, we need a select committee to come and investigate this team. What actually went wrong? And even see and determine whether there were actually political interference. Because it looks as if there is a lot of political interference in this kind of statistics. So this is my concern, Lob, and my proposal. I want to propose when they are hearing, so that we don't talk about it somewhere else when they are not listening. I'm proposing here, and if this motion is not going to be developed, I will do it myself. And I want the Shadow Cabinet to support this motion. We need to investigate these Ubos because of the fake statistics they produce. Thank you.
Okay.
According to other tribes, they have been reaching out to me, like, how can the rest of the around 34 be termed the others? It is demeaning. Let's come up with the entire population of all tribes, tribe by tribe.
Of course, it's true, there are a couple of errors, and in statistics, one of the principles indicate that when you identify an error and you acknowledge that it's an error, you are supposed to make it public. Okay? That is a fundamental principle of official statistics. And so it was made public and corrections were made. Yes, there are a number of constituencies that were, affected in one or the other, but I think the communications we sent out in the press clearly clarified the position. And the final figures and the reports, and Right Honorable Leader of Opposition, we have the reports we shall share with the final census report. We have them, we'll be able to share.
That some of their people still complain to them. Myself, a few in my area as well. Some of the enumerators you engaged, some of them say up to date they've not gotten their payment. I don't know what happened at that point. I remember when the issue came up, your ED said we are finalizing to see to it that we clear all the outstanding. I don't know if that has been taken care of, because
that they have given in all the information. They have given in the guides, the LCs who are pending, who are supposed to be paid. But up to this day, several of them still await this. So somehow we are seeing that now for us who are made to do an oversight role, there is ping pong. Everyone is pointing to the other between Ubos and the local governments. So we want to know now, independent, what could be the problem.
Do we have some enumerators that were not paid? And how many are they? If there are guides who were not paid, how many are they? And she has been telling us that you know, information flow. We don't know when they will submit the information. Let's pray that it doesn't take the whole year, because by close of financial year, we might not be able to pay. So I want to ask you, when you are planning for the human resource to use during this process, didn't you also plan for those who would assist? Because you recruited. You recruited your enumerators, and you also knew that some else who are chairpersons and others would help you. Don't you think it was poor planning on your part not to cover entirely all the team that you would use in the whole census? Right, Honorable Lope, everyone knows that this census was a scam in the whole country, and a lot of money was wasted.
In terms of enumerators who have not been paid, yes, that sometimes there are enumerators who are not being paid, and there were reasons. I think we had paid almost 99%, and there were about 1%. It's true they worked, and they deserve to be paid, and many of these have been paid. But the reasons that led to non-payment were sometimes genuine and required time to cross-check. It meant that we had to pay people whose mobile phones are registered in their names. And there are so many people who are holding Muwonge James's phone registered in Muwonge James, but they're different names. And so the system could not pay somebody who registered as James Muwonge, but worked as somebody else, because the system knows that these are different people.
Error omitted some people. And when they contact us and we reference back to the information that we've gotten from the district, their names are missing. We've given the guidance on how they ought to ensure they submit their complaints. And everyone that will still be verified will be paid. I submit.
Yes, some, if they are there, Honorable Balimwezo, and you know them, I would request that you share the list with the, because in Nakawa, we're working with the town clerk. If the town clerk can share with us that information, we will be more than ready to pay them.